followed the shadows of the past, as from a faded tapestry of time's procession, slow and vast. I step to bid you bear with me, the while your fancy I engage, to look upon another age. An age when on the human tide the plumid wave of chivalry rose to its summit. Sweeping wide across a nation's mighty sea, France never shone a brighter power than in this high, romantic hour. So come with me to France of old, to fiery days when hearts beat high, when blood was young and hate was bold, and sword crossed sword to do or die. For love and honor gloried then, and friendship reached its peak with men. Friends were friends in those brave days. Athos, Porthos, Aramis, aye, graved our hearts with a mystic phrase, bound our lives with a mystic tie. Come, stir your soul with our ringing call of all for one, and one for all. Come on! Come on! Come on! It is Paris on the 15th day of September in the year of our Lord 1638. Public excitement runs high. The populace enjoy a general holiday. Impatiently, they wait for the news of an heir to the throne of France. His Majesty Louis XIII, King of France. Maintaining his royal authority through the wits of others, he is himself weak and vain and lives in the oily smiles of a small circle of favorites. But the court is alive with intrigue. There are parties within parties, conspiracies beyond conspiracies, plots and counterplots. His Eminence, Monseigneur the Cardinal, Duc de Richelieu. He is the greatest statesman of the day and manipulates the strings which guide the king. His is the real power, subtle, cunning, and often ruthless. Still no one questions his devotion to the glorious kingdom of France. On this auspicious morning, the king pays a state visit to his queen. It is the custom for the sovereign and his courtiers to attend the expectant royal mother until his child is born. D'Artagnan, of the king's musketeers. Relieved of his duties at court for the day, he hurries to the home of his sweetheart, Constance Bonacieux. Constance is seamstress to the queen and is expected at the palace, so she cannot tarry long. Even the most eager lover, by error, can sometimes kiss a miss, or miss a kiss. It arrives for Constance. She carries an infant's layette in a crocheted basket for the queen. One kiss, one caress. kiss truly is a delicate plant requiring privacy to grow into a tender blossom, the dream of all lovers. The bell of the Cathedral of Notre Dame remind D'Artagnan of his friend and fellow musketeer, Aramis. He might be in danger. Aramis had threatened to continue his flirtations with the pretty owner of a roving, provocative eye, who unfortunately is married to an officer in the Cardinal's Guards. The guardsman naturally resents these attentions from this musketeer, but is restrained. Has not the Cardinal forbidden these duels with the King's Musketeers? Hola! Famous battle cry of the Musketeers. Instant help comes from the most fearsome steel in the kingdom. Huge Porthos, brave, strong, a King's Musketeer. And Musketeer Athos, gentle Athos, yet a deadly swordsman is able to kill with his left hand as with the right. D'Artagnan! The battle is forming. The Cardinal's Guards. This is no private fight then, eh? The Musketeers against the Cardinal's Guard. It started before D'Artagnan was born. And what are the odds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 guards to 4, 5 to 2, 2.5 to 1? Too simple. Draw your skewer, Monsieur Half Guardsman. Let's measure half a point. On guard! Come, where's your challenge now? Where's your steel? What's your fear? The law? Does the Cardinal still ban a friendly fight with a musketeer or two? Porthos, as always, is thirsty. He has capacity. D'Artagnan, with his quicker eye, has a more bountiful drinking source. Porthos can put out a hand and pick up the pot he's slavers for. Why waste energy walking? Come, driver, come inside with us. The old driver swears his wagon is damaged. His master will skin him. His horse is loose. He has a terrible wife. He has trouble. Everybody is mean to him. He has to be mean, too. Ha-ha! Now, take your temper out on me, good friend. Now, feel better? Now we can talk. I'll win you the price of your horse and more. Come, guardsman, I challenge you to game. This is not forbidden you. Dice are kind. Here's 20 times your price. Luck riding high, D'Artagnan returns to the dice game. Laughing and playing a while longer, he wins hands down from a fat-headed guardsman while waiting for the late evening rendezvous with Constance. Porthos, too, has women on his mind. The only battle the Musketeers ever lost in fair fight. Of course, it has to be with a fair sex. For the first time in his life, a panic-stricken Porthos screams a terrified, "Hola!" Athos hears him. Aramis springs bravely to the side of his comrades, and they flee together. But D'Artagnan hears only the pounding of a lover's heart. As the flood of battle at last sweeps close to him, he leaps to meet the foe and draws his sword. He will fight, yes? No, yes, no, he won't. Here, indeed, discretion is the better part of valor. Caught between the she-devils and the deep blue sea, they choose the water. The city is in ferment. The pressure beyond the gates is so great that the people are admitted to the courtyard. Adjoining the Queen's apartment, Constance prepares the layette. She is informed by Father Joseph, the Cardinal's trusted henchman, of the imminence of the royal birth. And so a prince is born to France, one day to become Louis XIV. By ancient custom, his royal father presents him to the people. But in the Queen's bedroom, another cry is heard. One of those rare turns of destiny. And Constance is the first to warn the tired, dozing midwife. Father Joseph grasps the vast consequences of this extraordinary event. This news must be conveyed discreetly to Cardinal Richelieu before it gets abroad. He writes a message inside the wrapper of some medicine, intends it for the Cardinal's eyes alone. Your medicine, Your Eminence. Duke de Rochefort, conniving head of the most powerful faction in court, working always in self-interest against the king and cardinal, pretending loyalty to both. necessity for caution on the part of Father Joseph is indeed well-founded. De Rochefort, having many times seen messages thus taken to His Eminence, becomes inquisitive. He resolves by a simple trick to learn the secret passed to the Cardinal. A substitution of scraps of paper. Cardinal realizes that enemies of the regime can do irreparable damage. 2 heirs to the throne. 2 rival parties of courtiers. More quarrels, more bloodshed. Poor France, helpless, torn between 2 factions. The secret of the twins must indeed be forever guarded if France is to have peace, and if he, the Cardinal, is to retain his power. Pretender, this. A true prince. De Rochefort sees an opportunity. Father Joseph is instructed to prepare for a long voyage. The Cardinal has a plan. He sends a page to summon de Rochefort. Aware that Constance shares possession of a great secret, one so sacred it might well spell the future of France, the Cardinal charges her to keep her lips sealed. Richelieu entrusts the wily de Rochefort with Constance's safety. She must not be permitted to see anyone until further notice. The Cardinal is not at liberty to tell his reasons, but de Rochefort is making his own plans. In accordance with the Cardinal's command, Father Joseph, accompanied by the midwife, secretly takes the twin away to the Spanish border. The child shall be raised as a commoner with no knowledge of his royal birth. Meanwhile, in the great ballroom, the king holds a reception in honor of his firstborn. Had he known the cradle should have held 2 sons, he might have been less self-satisfied with the Cardinal's congratulations. To the notorious Milady de Winter, de Rochefort comes to reveal this chance of fate. The future of France may be in their hands. He tells her he will turn Constance over to her. She is to escort Constance to the convent of Saint-Gamel. There, force her to tell the whole of the Cardinal's secret and plans. He will play one against the other, Cardinal against King, for his own ambition. Constance to be... One of the chair carriers runs with the news to the Musketeers' barracks. D'Artagnan, wake up! Constance taken by force, by de Rochefort. rescue! All for one and one for all. And hang the tack. The wily cheat is in no mood to cross steel with this angry Gascon bent on justice. Thugs are powerless to help. Rochefort is stubborn. He will not talk. He has to be persuaded. The probe goes on. Where is she? Where is Constance? Talk or fall 200 feet to the bottom of the well. Talk or die. The Cardinal's guard look on, afraid to act. A strand at a time, steel cuts through hemp. Thin strands of it. And now but two. Now one. De Rochefort breaks. The convent of Saint-Guerre. To the rescue! A stableman granted audience with the Cardinal tells of de Rochefort's trickery and capture and of Constance's abduction by Milady de Winter. Richelieu and his escort reached the well to confront the Duke. Accused, exposed, a nervous, bedraggled penitent. He confesses that he has indeed played traitor. His Eminence breaks de Rochefort, stripping him of his authority and titles, banished from both court and country forever. Fearing for the safety of Constance, the Cardinal speeds in pursuit of Milady de Winter. Before dawn the next morning, the convent of Saint-Guerre. Milady de Winter assures the unsuspecting nuns her prisoner is an enemy of the state, to be confined to the convent on orders of the Cardinal. The banished de Rochefort, smarting under his humiliations, lingers in Paris. All is not lost. He uses the last of his wealth in a desperate gamble and buys the services of ruffians. Pursue the cardinal and assassinate him. Next, find D'Artagnan and his 3 musketeer friends and put them to the sword. The Rochefort still dreams of himself in terms of the most powerful man in France. The path to power is open if Milady de Winter secures the secret from Constance. And honeyed entreaties, the unscrupulous Milady de Winter seeks to cajole Constance into telling all she knows. Constance Bonacieux is not here. But he hears her voice. Hola! One for all and all for one. Public criminal, burnt by a branding iron into her flesh, a sign to all. Exposed to Constance as a criminal, Milady de Winter is desperate. If caught thus in a second act of crime, by the laws of France, Milady must face public execution. Or that of Constance. D'Artagnan hears Constance whisper that she loves him above all men. And then she murmurs 3 words, the other one, the other one. D'Artagnan strains to hear the faint pulse of her words, but Constance dies. The musketeers take Milady de Winter to her punishment. His Eminence the Cardinal has traveled through the night. He hears the dreadful news from the Mother Superior. Constance is dead. Faithful, loyal Constance. Arrest the murderess, Milady de Winter, and all in concert with her. The three musketeers, Athos, Porthos, and Aramis, enraged, take the law into their own hands and deliver the murderess to the public executioner and order her death. Then de Rochefort's cutthroats close in on the cardinal's troop. Some distance away, the musketeers are captured by their deadliest rivals. The Cardinal's guard formally arrest the musketeers for continuing to take the law into their own hands. Disarmed, the musketeers are set against the wall for execution. Your guards would take the lives of my friends. Single-handed, they shall have revenge. The cardinal asks a moment to ponder. Constance dead. A murderess executed. Enough blood has been shed. Now this strife twixt musketeer and guard shall end. D'Artagnan's plea saves his friends, but there's to be a harsh penalty. Richelieu's plan concerns the state, and these continuing disputes between his guard and the king's musketeers. The four musketeers must separate, never to come together again on pain of death. His judgment, oh, a sorry day. The musketeers are banished, each to his own province, never to visit Paris again, nor set foot beyond the bounds of his own fields. As for you, D'Artagnan, a splendid soldier, reliable, devoted too. You henceforth shall be bodyguard of the future king, beloved of France, the nation's one. At one fell swoop, all strife is done. The musketeers prepare for their banishment. Godspeed. Farewell. Eternal friendship, it shall not pall. All for one, and one for all. Five years have passed.